Hello and welcome to the big one. It's time for the Ducati Lenovo Team launch in 2025. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching around the world. I'm sure there's plenty of you tuning in to this one, probably the biggest. I don't think anyone will have anything to say about that. Team presentations in 2025, Marc Marquez joining Pecco Bagnaia, the former two-time world champion, of course, and the eight-time world champion in MotoGP, joining forces in Ducati Red. What a prospects we've got going on here in 2025. As you can see on your screens there, we've had 3 presentations already. Trackhouse Racing, I was lucky enough to be in Charlotte for that one to enjoy Trackhouse Racing HQ. Then we were in Aprilia colours, purple, what a bike by the way. Lovely looking Aprilia factory racing machine with the number 1 on it, of course, as well in Jorge Martin. Then Gresini changed their livery a little bit, didn't they? A little bit of silver added to that. Less red as well for the Gresini Racing MotoGP Alex Marquez and Fermin Aldeguer. Of course, today's the big one, 20th of January, Ducati Lenovo Team. We'll be seeing what their colours are, Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez. Then we move on later on in the week to VR46. Then at the end of the month, it's time for Red Bull, KTM Factory and the Tech 3 teams to unveil their liveries. I'll be back for the Monster Energy Yamaha and Prima Pramac Yamaha launch at the end of January the 31st, before Honda HRC on the 1st of Feb, then LCR Honda on the 8th of Feb, and then, of course, the much talked about Bangkok 2025 launch. So remember to get your comments and questions into the chat. We'd love to hear from you. We try and engage as much as possible. One of the points of doing these kind of shows is trying to interact with fans, get you involved in the comments as much as possible. We've already got some in, which is good news. This year should go down in history. Excellent riders, excellent bikes from Angel Design. Yes, absolutely agree. Pecco, go, go, go from Ernesto Fernandez. It's a big year for Pecco, isn't it? He lost the number 1 plate, of course. That went to Jorge Martin last year. MM93 in Ducati colours from Christian Catley. Yes, this is an intriguing and exciting prospect. Of course, so many of you are intrigued to see how Marc Marquez can do in factory colours. Namaste from Bharat in India. Hopefully we'll be returning to India at some point in the future. Hi from Italy, Stefano De Vecchi. Yes, hi from Italy. Glad there's so many of you from all corners of the globe watching on to see what the livery is and how Marc Marquez looks in red. We already saw him in red before the close of the season, didn't we, at the pre-season test, but this is official colours. So a reminder then, Bangkok is coming up, the official one-off opening launch for 2025, so enjoy this little promo video to get a taste of what we might expect to come.
MotoGP is back.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. It's been kept under wraps, to be fair. I don't know too much info about it, but it's going to be a special day over in Bangkok. So as you can see then, at the bottom of the screen, we have a poll, of course, as we do in these team presentations. Remember, you can react in the chat with A or B, Pecco Bagnaia or Marc Marquez. So either of those answers on each side will get you into the poll and get your answers seen. Which rider will you be supporting more in 2025? A, Pecco Bagnaia, or B, Marc Marquez? The results are now live, so we'll be getting some live interaction, live results as we go on through the programme. That's an intriguing question, isn't it? Pecco Bagnaia, of course, double world champion in 2022 and 2023. Marc Marquez joining him in Ducati colours in 2025. And this is, of course, what we saw at the Barcelona test, which both feels like yesterday and a long time ago now, back in November, a cold November day at the Barcelona test. And there you see the number 63 on the front of Pecco's bike. I've got to admit, and I'm sure everyone else felt the same, it was very strange to see the 63 back on that factory Ducati in the white colour scheme that was a replica, sort of what Casey Stoner did back a few years ago, of course, when he donned factory Ducati colours as well. A beautiful looking machine. I got a feeling it won't be white for this season. It'll be that sort of red colour. But yeah, really weird to see the 63, and it was just intriguing to see how they worked together in the test. Obviously, can't draw too many conclusions as of yet. It was a new bike, the GP25 for both Pecco and Mark, but both of them said they worked well together and had the same comments about what direction they should be taking. So that's going to be an interesting storyline that we're going to be following very closely, of course, in 2025. So poll updates, well, there you can see 88% at the minute going for Marc Marquez over Pecco Bagnaia. That's going to change, I'm sure, throughout your votes coming in, but of course Marc Marquez is probably the most popular rider on the grid by some distance, so no surprises there. As you can see, Jack Appleyard is waiting for us over at Madonna di Campiglio in Italy. Jack, good to see you, mate. Hope you had a nice trip up from Imola. How's the conditions there? You're looking pretty chilly, but a magnificent setting for Ducati's presentation once again.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Great to be here in the Italian Dolomites. It's not a bad backdrop, is it? Pretty picturesque part of the world, and I'm glad to report I've got my boots, I've got my skis all ready for a little bit of action tomorrow. There is a ski race going on tomorrow once the presentation is done, and I have to say I was fancying my chances until we got to a dinner last night and found out that one of the Italian journalists here, up to the age of 18, was part of the Italian giant slalom squad. So looks as though I'll be fighting for a silver medal tomorrow, which is a great shame. But yeah, we've already had Marc Marquez walk into the building. He is here in black, though. We're still waiting to at once see him fully kitted out in his brand new 2025 Ducati Red, and no better setting here in the Dolomites, in the ski slopes, to say that it does feel as though hell has frozen over. Who would have thought, after all of those years, all of those battles that Marc Marquez had with Andrea Dovizioso, Andrea Iannone, with Davide Tardozzi, GD Dell'Igna and the rest, that here on the eve of the 2025 World Championship, that Marquez would have joined forces with them for so long. He was the arch enemy of Ducati, and now he's getting into bed with them and will be riding one of GG Dell'Igna's Bologna bullets in 2025. Quite remarkable. And you have to say as well that throughout all of these presentations, there's a lot of talk about what the targets are, what they're aiming for. Target here, El, pretty simple. They have to be world champion. If neither Pecco Bagnaia or Marc Marquez wins the World Championship this year, then it will go down as a huge failure for the factory Ducati squad.
Absolutely agree, yeah. I mean, Pecco and Marc, a formidable force between the pair of them. What's the atmosphere like, Jack? I know we've gone into the building, we're not going in there just yet, but what's obviously plenty of media presence there, I'm sure. A massive day, the biggest presentation of the season so far. What's the atmosphere like? How many journalists are there? What's the sense of anticipation for this presentation?
It's busy, I can tell you, very busy indeed. Of course, I was with you on Saturday for the Gresini launch, and there were a few media there, but this is really ramped up a notch. Journalists from all over Europe, all over the world, have descended on Madonna di Campiglia to get their first look at a 93 on the front of a Ducati, and to see the 63, of course, return for Pecco Bagnaia as well. I am hoping that we might see a certain former world champion make his way into the building very shortly. As I said, Marc Marquez has already walked in. I'm hoping that Pecco might join us very soon indeed. It looks as though he may well be inside already. I'm not sure. I might have missed him. He might have gone in through the back door. But yeah, it's a great atmosphere here. Everyone very, very excited indeed to have a chat with Marc and Pecco later on. Of course, we have heard from Jorge Martini. Threw down the gauntlet, didn't he, with that number one plate being stuck onto the front of an Aprilia for the very first time. And it's up to these guys to try and steal it back from the Noali factory.
It certainly is, Jack. We'll chat to you a little bit later once you go in there and get a familiar surroundings and chat to other people. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes or so, mate. Cheers for that. So there we go. Yeah, Jack Appleyard live over in the Italian Dolomites. I've got to say I'm pretty jealous of that. Skiing tomorrow. Is he going to get that silver medal? I don't think he will, but let's see how he goes on. So more chat comments coming in then, hoping for an epic battle in 2025 for all the riders. Let's go. Yes, that's what we're hoping for as well. Go Ducati from Spain. Yes, I'm thinking Ducati. Of course, last year Marc Marquez was with Gresini Ducati, but this year he's moving into the factory team. I'm sure we're going to be in plenty more red Ducati shirts when we visit Spain a couple of times this season. Hello from South Africa. Great to hear from Jaden Swartz there, tuning in from South Africa. Hello from the Philippines. Marc Marquez all the way. No surprises there from Mateo Mangubats. Yeah, from the Philippines. Obviously in Asia, huge support for all the riders, but most of all Marc Marquez. Hi, watching from New Zealand from Oliver Chittenden. Good to hear from the New Zealand fans, as always. Hopefully some of them will be going over to Phillip Island or potentially elsewhere in 2025. So, where are we going next? Comments, continue to get them in, and we can then react to them and see what you're feeling like for 2025. I'm very excited for this. So, of course, we've got the promo for the documentary coming up that was produced in-house. There Can Be Only One. It's been obviously happening for the last couple of years. Fantastic insights into the season that just gone by in 2024. And, of course, it went down all the way to Barcelona at the end of the season. So here's a little promo for you, a little bit of a teaser of what you can expect from the upcoming documentary.
The world's fastest riders are ready to hit full throttle once again. MotoGP is back. The party starts right here and now. Is this frenetic battle between Bagnaia and Marquez?
Non è né colpa tua né colpa mia, ma tutti e due a terra.
Shark attack. It's the rookie sensation Acosta. It's a race win behind Martin. Three names for the most coveted seat in MotoGP.
Calici perché io c'ho la new.
Magic Maverick Vinales, the top gun is back on top.
We don't give up until we reach the very top of this class.
Honestly, I would be pissed off in KTM's position if they managed to lose him.
Pra Magnus un occhio.
Masterpiece from world champion Pecco Bagnaia. Whoa! Here comes Marc Marquez, one of the greatest comebacks in Grand Prix history.
Tienen que dar ya mi nombre ahí.
But here comes Martin with the element of surprise.
There are more title contenders than ever, but there can be only one.
Well worth a watch, as always. I helped with some subtitles on a couple of the episodes, and I can promise you it is great behind the scenes stuff, especially that Mark and Pecco chat after the Portimao incident. Watch out for that one. So more comments coming in then. Watching him from the US. Was getting ready to go to bed, but I guess I'm not. The melatonin will definitely knock me out. Yeah, from Casey Brace. Yeah. Hopefully you've not taken the melatonin yet, because you need to stay up for another hour or so to watch the presentation. But if you have, then have a good sleep and you can see it in the morning. Hello from Belgium. Pecco for the win. So this is going to be interesting, is it, to see who wins out of Pecco and Mark, both coming into the season as the title favourites. It's going to be a fascinating battle between the pair. Hello from Singapore. Forza Ducati, Forza Mark. Yeah, Marc Marquez, of course, having plenty of attention. Ducati, even more attention than they already have after a record-breaking 2024 season. So, MotoGP Premier, get the VIP experience, and it truly is as well. I'm lucky enough to host some of the Q&As with guest stars, including Marc Marquez. Sometimes I spoke to him over the Americas GP, and all the MotoGP riders at certain stage come through the doors and have a chat with the guys. The fans who are there have paid good money to go there. It's a fantastic experience. I would recommend it to anyone if you can get to a race this season, to have a little bit of a dabble in a VIP experience. So we can go once again over to Italy. There you can see Jack Appleyard is made his way inside to the warmth. Jack, much better feeling inside, I'm sure, than outside. What's the anticipation, the build-up like? We're now, 15 minutes or so away from the presentation getting underway. What's the feeling like inside?
Yeah, the auditorium behind me filling up quite nicely now. There are, as I said earlier, quite a few media, newspapers, radio hosts and the rest all here to finally sample the 2025 Ducati Lenovo Team machines. And the pair of them, as you can see, are just behind me here. It will be the 63 of Pecco Bagnaia on the left, the 93 of Marc Marquez on the right. I have had a sneak peek, and I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm quite pleased to say ahead of everyone else, I've seen the 93 on the Ducati. It looks good. A little bit off-putting, a little bit surprising. It's still a bit jarring. It'll take some time to get used to, but it does look good. And you can see behind me here as well, this is the main man, the man plotting to try and once again win a world championship. Of course, the MotoGP World Championship has belonged to Ducati for the past 3 years. Firstly, for Pecco Bagnaia doing the double, and then, of course, dramatically in that final round at Barcelona last year, it went to Jorge Martin and the independent squad of Prima Pramac, who are no longer with Ducati. It's going to be a very different prospect for them in 2025. No longer 8 bikes on the grid, now only 6. No longer 4 full factory machines on the grid, now only 3. And that information, knowledge, so many riders speak at length about what an advantage that is for Ducati, and they don't have that anymore. You look at KTM, Aprilia, Honda, Yamaha, they will all have 4 full factory machines on the grid. Ducati deciding to only go for 3, of course. These 2 behind me of Pecco Bagnaia, Marc Marquez and Fabio Di Giannantonio. So it's going to be interesting to see that lack of motorcycles compared to what they've had over the past couple of years, how much of an impact that is going to have and whether it will allow the competition to get a little bit closer to them this year.
Yeah, what's the general feeling then between Mark and Pecco, do you feel, Jack? Obviously, you're there in person, you've seen them both. We saw them interact, of course, at the test and in the couple of events that they did post-test in November. How do you think this is going to play out throughout the season? Obviously, they're going to be nice to each other to begin with, but how early do you think we're going to see them sort of clash, for want of a better term?
Well, personally, I hope round 1, race 1. I think that's what everyone wants to see. As you say, it's amicable at the moment. They do get along, but I mean, there's no point trying to lie to people at home. They're not best mates. Are they going to be going out tonight, enjoying a little bit of après-ski together in Madonna di Campiglio? No, of course not. They would much rather not have one another as teammates. They may well come to the media later and say, oh yeah, you know, it's great to have a world champion on the other side of the box. It's the benchmark. It's the rider that I'm going to have to try and beat. You might as well have the best alongside you. But these guys, for obvious reasons, their history runs so deep. They're not best friends. They don't get on. And we've seen in the There Can Be Only One documentary, there was a couple of flashpoints last year, in particular what happened at Portimao and the conversation that they had afterwards. And you can be guaranteed there are going to be flashpoints this year. It's going to be a huge, huge challenge for Gigi Dall'Igna, for Davide Tardozzi to try and keep a lid on it. The reason that there was such a changing of the pecking order within Ducati, with Paolo Ciabatti moving aside, is because he wasn't particularly keen on Marc Marquez coming into the fold at Ducati and what could happen. The relationships that were already formed and all of the goodwill that was there could very quickly change. And I'm interested to chat with Pecco later on. There was a great documentary that Ducati did themselves where there was an image where Davide Tardozzi, after the sprint in Thailand, said to Pecco, you cannot be a gentleman anymore. And we're going to have to see a new version of Pecco this year, because the man next to him in the box is arguably the most ungentlemanly rider on the MotoGP grid. Marc Marquez will do everything he can to win a race. He's not going to be allowing another rider to go through. There is not going to be any moral high ground taken by Marc Marquez. So if Bagnaia wants to beat him, he's going to have to play him at his own game.
Yeah, I think Davide Tardozzi's got his work cut out this year for sure. Jack, just finally before we let you go for now, first race potentially tomorrow, the ski race. Do you know if the 2 riders are involved and how are you feeling ahead of that? You mentioned the journalists there who was part of this Italian ski team. How do you think you're going to get on, mate?
Yeah, both riders will be participating, I'm told, as will Gigi, who I have been told is pretty handy with a pair of skis attached to him. So, I mean, as ever, I'm confident. I'm going to go into the race with the mindset, L, of win it or bin it. I get 2 runs. It's going to be maximum commitment. You may well next see me in the office with a cast on either my left or my right leg. But one thing that is for sure, I'll be giving it 100% effort.
Expect nothing less from you, Jack. Thanks for that, mate. Looking forward to hearing the results from the ski trip, and we'll obviously tune into you a little bit later on for maybe one final connection pre-presentation. But yeah, great to hear from Jack, getting a sense of the atmosphere down there in Italy. So here we go then. Which rider will you be supporting more in 2025? This is the results of the first poll we're doing. A, Pecco Bagnaia, B, Marc Marquez. And look at that, Marc Marquez, a whopping 85% of you are supporting Marc Marquez more than Pecco Bagnaia in 2025. Not really surprised. I did think it'd be a little bit closer than that, I've got to be honest, but it is Marc Marquez. He is the 8-time world champion, of course. Rode a Ducati for the first time last year. The questions were asking him. He was asking himself, of course, He wasn't expecting to come in and win the title. He just wanted to feel like he can be the rider he wants to be again. Of course, he's pretty much fully fit. I don't think he's ever going to be at the peak of his powers like he was in sort of 2019, for example, but he's not too far off that. Shinjo Chanel, Go MM93 from Japan. Yes, of course, Japanese have loved watching Marc Marquez, of course, riding for Honda for all those years, winning all those titles, 6 of them, of course, in MotoGP. I can't wait to see Marquez become the champion again. Oh, a little bit of a prediction there from Galbros. Marc Marquez, I think, will be the bookies' favourite, and understandably so. Of course, the 8-time world champion jumping onto the best bike in the best team. Widely considered as one of the best, if not the best rider we've ever seen grace the sport. Of course, some of you will definitely not agree that he's the best ever, but I don't think anyone can say that he's not right up there with the best of them. Hello from Maritus. It will be interesting to see Mark in red and see how he performs on the Desmo Sedici GP25. It will be very interesting. The test went well for them. He was happy with what he felt on the bike, but obviously plenty of work to do in Sepang and the Thailand test. Hi from South Africa. Thanks for this great show. You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in. It's great to be able to bring this sort of interaction with all the fans from all around the world. Hello from Indonesia. This era of MotoGP in 2025. We hope the riders are full of enthusiasm when competing on the track. I'm sure they will be, and most of all, probably Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez when they're battling together. Of course, we saw them come to blows in Portimao last year. That phenomenal battle in Jerez. Who can ever forget that? I need to go rewatch that actually, because I've not seen that for a good couple of months, and that was such a special occasion between the pair of them. Pecco winning on that one, but Marc Marquez was very close indeed. So as you can see, we can go back over to Jack Appleyard's and familiar faces with him. Gavin Emmett from TNT Sports. I'm sure a lot of you will recognise his face and voice. So Jack, over to you, mate.
With Gav ahead of what I'm sure you thought is something that we'd never see, a 93 on the front of a Ducati. We were just saying, after all of the years of him being the arch enemy, the nemesis of Gigi Dall'Igna, now they've come together. Quite an amazing event to be at.
Yeah, the fox is in the chicken coop, isn't it, ultimately? And it's great. I mean, this is to put Marc Marquez inside the factory Ducati team alongside multi-world champion Pecco Bagnaia. It is the biggest team that we're seeing, I think, since the Rossi-Lorenzo partnership at Yamaha, if not of all time. It's Ducati's biggest lineup that they've ever had. Say biggest lineup. We've had some stars through the years, don't get me wrong, but you are bringing two of the strongest riders in the sport that there's been, and they're running out the same factory, but by all accounts they're getting on like a house on fire at the moment. So we'll see what the bike looks like, how the atmosphere is between them, but I'm so excited. I'm glad to be here.
I think the key phrase there is for the moment. We'll wait and see what happens as the season gets underway, but the stats speak for themselves. Only Valentino and Jorge, when they were together in 2016, have we ever seen more MotoGP World Championships together? 10 on that occasion, 8 between these two. 22 rounds, they're going to be fighting for the World Championship together. There's no arguing that. Are they going to get on for the entirety of the year? Can you see sparks flying as early as round one?
Well, sparks fly already internally. His documentary back. I thought he was giving it to Pecco. And that sort of thing, that's what's going on behind the scenes. Ducati demand victory, success. And you can't both be number one. They both want to be number one. So I cannot believe that we're going to get through a 22-race MotoGP World Championship without there being some. But that's what we love. But it'll be cordial now at the start of the season. We'll just see. They've had clashes on track in the past. We'll see if there's a different way of playing it when they're both fighting out the same factory.
It feels like we're going to see a slightly change in the dynamic of the World Championship this year. I was just saying with regards to the number of bikes, now 2 less, 1 less full factory machine as well. Looks as though there's an opportunity this year for the competitors to close that gap, and certainly in the early rounds, put them under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, and 1 less 20 out there, so that makes it interesting from that side of things. Are Ducati still going to dominate? They've made missteps in the past in terms of the first few races getting up to speed, so that's something that we've got to bear in mind, especially with someone new coming into the factory. What changes will he have asked for? He wasn't on the 24. He's taken that step. So is there a development direction change that we're not aware of? Gigi's famous for bringing things out that were, oh, right, okay, that's a part of the bike that we haven't been focusing on in the past. So that's going to be an interesting development. Is any of the, have the Yamahas, have they been able to make a little bit of a step with those extra concessions? And so Ducati, their job is obviously to get that number 1 plate back. Okay, they know they won it with Jorge Martin last year. Yeah, that's fine, but they want it back. They want it in factory red. There's no doubt about that. But part of the job in that is staying ahead of the game and not be complacent, not thinking, well, the GP24 destroyed everyone, so we're okay with that. So, yeah, that's part of it. And I can see Davide Baran around here, can see Gigi, and they're all, that's their job is to make sure that package still remains the one to be on.
It's going to be fascinating throughout pre-season as well. Who leads the project forward? Because they're two very different riders. They're going to both have very different tastes and needs. And who do you go to? Do you go to the new toy in Marc Marquez? And they'll be fascinated to hear his side of things. But do you stick with Pecco Bagnaia, who obviously has been so loyal to you and won you 2 world championships? It's going to be fascinating to see. Anyway, thank you for being here with us, Gav. Enjoy the season, enjoy the presentation.
Cheers, Jack. All the best. And yeah, let's hope it's a good one.
Thank you very much. El, back to you. Enjoy the show.
Cheers, buddy. Yep, great to hear from yourself and Gavin Emmett, as always, an encyclopedia of knowledge in MotoGP. Been around the block and always fascinating to chat to Gavin about MotoGP. 2025 is going to be an intense one. Yes, I absolutely agree. It is going to be an intense fight between these two especially, but then throw Jorge Martin on the Aprilia into the mix as well, and a whole host of others. Pedro Acosta, of course. It is going to be a fascinating watch. Marc looks so good in red. Yeah, that testing livery in Barcelona, Todo Al Rojo, was a really good look. It won't be as red, I don't think. There'll be a few more sponsors on it, of course, and a little bit more colours else apart from the red, but he did look good in red. Couldn't be happier that the season is finally here. Absolutely agree. We all enjoyed our festive period, a bit of time off to enjoy with family and friends, but now the presentations are coming fast and furious. It's time to get bikes back on track. Absolutely agree. Pecco will definitely fight for the championship title this year. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think Pecco will be, of course, hungrier than ever to reclaim that number 1 from Jorge Martin and get it back on his Ducati machine, but he's going to have a tough test, isn't he, with Marc Marquez alongside him. Marc will be the Sprint King this year. It's going to take some doing to topple Jorge Martin as the Sprint King, but of course he's moving over to Aprilia, a different kind of package for Jorge Martin to deal with, not a proven regular race winning package, but that is where Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez came unstuck last year in the title fight, especially of course Pecco Bagnaia. 3 DNFs in the races on Sunday, but 5 in the sprints. If it was only Sunday races, Pecco Bagnaia would have won the title at Canter, but of course it isn't. And we've just seen the corner there, turn 5 at the Circuit de Barcelona Castellón. You remember when Pecco Bagnaia crashed out of the lead there on the final lap, a costly error, and then the ultimate one in Sepang down at the hairpin when he was chasing Jorge Martin. A front end took a simple enough crash, but that is pretty much what cost Pecco Bagnaia a chance at claiming the title in the end. So the sprints is really where Pecco has got to up his game in 2025. So it's going to be very interesting to see who can do that the most between, of course, first and foremost, Pecco and Marc. Will then throw Jorge Martin into the mix, who you feel more so in the sprints than in the race. Pre-season, of course, there's not been a wheel turn in anger, of course, in 2025 yet. That's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in the sprints, because as we found out last season, it's a crucial part of trying to claim the 2025 MotoGP title. So here we go then. It's nearly time to see and lift the covers off the GP25s as Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez. So we'll leave you there for now. Enjoy the presentation, sit back and relax. We're going to get the covers lifted off the 93 and the 63 factory Ducati. So sit back, enjoy, and we will return in around about 45 minutes to an hour or so. So enjoy it, and we'll see you soon.
Per me inizio può voler dire tante cose, come per esempio il fatto di iniziare questa nuova stagione, che sarà secondo me molto bella. Ci sarà un nuovo compagno di squadra, ci saranno tanti team forti. La preparazione secondo me sta andando nel migliore dei modi e quindi siamo pronti ad iniziare. Harapan untuk musim 2025 ini pasti sangat tinggi, kami pasti akan berusaha untuk memperbaiki. Namun dalam apa juga keadaan saya beruntung mempunyai pasukan di belakang saya yang menyokong dan membantu saya dengan banyak. Dalam semua ini, jadi kami sudah bersedia dan saya tidak sabar untuk memulakan.
Para mí el inicio de la temporada es motivación y sobre todo ilusión. Tienes que empezar una temporada nueva con la máxima ilusión posible. 2025年が楽しい年になることを期待しています。それは表彰台や勝利のために戦い、チーム全体で楽しい時間を過ごすことを意味します。
È ora di cominciare.
Es hora de empezar.
Buongiorno.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the presentation of the Ducati Lenovo Team, Campioni in Pista. Today, from this stage, I'm going to introduce the presentation of the Ducati Lenovo Team, and we're going to start this new adventure, the 2025 MotoGP season. And for the third consecutive year, we are broadcasting live from a breathtaking location, Madonna di Campiglio. So we started with a video, an opening video, in which the stars of the day, Francesco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez, showcase their linguistic skills. They use different languages, thanks also to the help of technology. And we're going to talk about technology later on, but now I would like to focus about being international. So the eyes of the world are on this stage today. So I'd like to greet everyone following us from home, thanks to Ducati's official channels and thanks to our live streaming service in Italy and abroad. Just a little spoiler about our champions. So they are going to unveil their amazing Desmo 16 and GP25. So we talked about Madonna di Campiglio, and now I would like to focus on this amazing location. So I leave the stage to the president of the Madonna di Campiglio Tourist Board, Mr. Tullio Serafini.
Good morning, everyone, and please be welcome. On my behalf and on behalf of the Tourism Board and Trentino Marketing and Pinzolo and Treville Board, it's a privilege for us and an honor for us to host and welcome for the first consecutive year this event, this initiative that strengthens even more the long relationship and relation that we had with a brand, with an excellent brand and a good representative of Italian excellence here in the Madonna di Campiglio territory, which is a manifestation of excellence. Again, this is a very important event, and this is the starting point of a series of initiatives, and we hope that we can go down this path together, as we did in the past. Last year, on this stage, we presented an innovative project, a very important one, together with our partner, Audi. Mountain Progress Lab is a project that goes into the direction of technology and innovation, but also sustainability. And these are the core values for Madonna di Campiglio. And together with Audi, we share such values, and we want to have them at the heart of our experience and our 10-year-long story. And together with us on the stage last year, we had a dear friend, a professional that really loved his brand, that really loved our territory too, and I would like to remember him, Fabrizio Longo. He's no longer with us.
Grazie.
Thank you. all. And I'd like to thank Ducati for giving us, for another year, such a brilliant privilege and occasion to collaborate with them. I would like to thank all the sponsors, the journalists, and all the other people who are here for this 3-day event. So please be welcome and enjoy our territory and its beauty. Have a great Ducati experience, you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Tullio, and thank you to Madonna di Campiglio for being a shining example of how hospitality should be. An amazing kind of hospitality for us this year, for the great Ducati family. Talking about family and being together, creating a team, having a very strong synergy, we must say that in the last 3 years, Madonna di Campiglio, Ducati, and Audi Italy created a winning synergy. And today, it's an extremely important day for Ducati, and of course it's an important day also for the Audi Group, which has recently appointed a new brand director for Italy. So I would like to give you some information about him. He's German, but he really wanted to speak in Italian today. Of course, it would have been easier for him to speak German, but he really strongly wished to speak in Italian. So let's give a warm welcome to Team Barlett.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, you are right. Please don't ask me difficult questions in Italian. I've just got here 2 weeks ago.
I'm not going to ask you questions, team, but I leave you the stage and I will be listening to your speech.
Thank you, Barbara. It's a sheer pleasure for me to welcome Ducati to Madonna di Campiglio. Our sister company is a motorsports talent. And it's become a boast for us, a virtuous example of a real passion and the ability to achieve results. And for the 3rd year in a row, we got back and we return in an area that we really, really love. Such territory represents a virtuous model itself based on the ability to transform a dialogue into effective development. Our partnership with Campiglio embodies an advanced concept that is based on mutual listening. This is our founding value to the benefit and for the sake of the community. 12 years ago, we began a common path to enhance this diamond of the Alps through what we do best and we know best, technology. So this was the starting point for a series of projects that put innovation at the center to qualify the territory in terms of communication and conservation. We withdrew our first conclusions just a few minutes ago. In fact, we have just finalized the first results of the Mountain Progress Lab project. This is a joint project that was created to monitor the state of the environment through data collection. These data are processed with AI, and then we return them to local institutions as a basis for targeted actions for the conservation and protection of the environment. We did this by bringing together several skills. With our scientific partner, H-Farm, we collaborated with the University of Trento, we collaborated with the Campiglio Tourist Board and with Trentino Marketing. So this is our way of contributing to the defense and protection of an exceptionally unique and fragile ecosystem, with the aim of being able to continue to enjoy the natural beauty and also all the athletic challenges in all seasons, all year round. This is the same approach that we apply to our factories, where the talent of engineers has been invested in going beyond the product and extending the process, the production process, to make it compatible with our ecosystem. This work in Europe, well, we can, thanks to this work, already produce all our electric cars in certified carbon-neutral plants. This is also a way of operating that stems from a very clear vision, manufacturing emotions while respecting the great and fragile home that hosts us, nature. So these are the emotions that will find their highest expression in our next sports challenge, Formula One, starting from next year. An appointment with the Olympus of motorsports that will bring us ever closer to the world that is now the protagonist today through the magic of Ducati. The magic of transforming passion and technical virtuosity into success, into excitement on the track and on the road. And now, that said, Barbara, I leave you the stage and the track to you and the riders.
Eccoci.
Here we are. Thank you, team, and congratulations on your Italian, considering you had little time, you spent little time in Italy. In this case, I can assure everyone there was no help from artificial intelligence. But now it's time to paint everything Ducati red on such an important day. We couldn't start without him. So let's welcome the CEO of the Borgo Panigale factory. I'm talking about Claudio Domenicali.
Claudio, ben ritrovato.
Claudio, I know that today is a very important day, so we are going to write a new book, a blank book, waiting to be written. So there's much to say, there's much to be written. I know you have a lot of important things to share with us, so I leave you the stage.
Thank you so much, and hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation of the Ducati Lenovo Team 2025. It's a sheer emotion for me, this starting, thrilling moment of the starting of the season. It's an occasion to talk about the future and share some reflections on the future in a beautiful place that shares the same values with us, values of beauty, values of the chance to enjoy nature, enjoying staying together and enjoying the beautiful days that we will spend together in this beautiful place. So not only sports, but also a real living experience. Madonna di Campiglio, it's an extraordinary and unique place just for this and many other reasons. And I would like to thank Madonna di Campiglio and thank Audi for giving us a chance to bring our event here. And thanks to all the sponsors in the room, Lenovo and Shell, Monster, and who are really key sponsors for us. So thank you. This is a beautiful territory that we are proud to consider a friend to us, and the place to welcome all the Ducatisti and Ducati fans and aficionados and all the people who are here today to celebrate our brand, our community, and to celebrate our being together and staying together in such a peculiar event. Let's talk about 2025 in a moment when Ducati has a privileged position, very positive one, not only from the sports point of view, but also from the economic, from the results point of view, considering all the races that we won, 19 wins out of 20. So this is an extraordinary number and result, but also a very positive position considering our range of products. We never had so many technologically advanced models before. It's an incredible product considering the mechanical, electronic performance and the aerodynamic performance, but we also have a new family based on a very light engine weighing only 54 kilograms, and we are facing and entering this new year with excitement, because our aficionados can also start off-road and know our 450 new off-road bike. So we will also do and have our debut in that category in the World Championship, and that's a brilliant thing. It's a chance for us to talk about our system, Ducati system, based on technology and modern science. And it's an approach where people are sharing and enjoying what they do. And we have our riders who are ambassadors, and we are thrilled to see how they ride, and like Pecco on the V4 and during the tests, or Mark during the tests, and we could learn something about the equilibrium and the balance of the bike, the styles, and so on. So this is an important feature for us. Talking about the Ducati system, the application of such system was the basis of the construction of the 2025 team that has a huge potential, but also a team that we think will push the whole team and factory forward and down the path of being better day after day. We strongly believe in the talents that we have in our team, and this will be a stimulus for all of us, for all the engineers and all the other professionals, and this will be the starting point and the basis for something that we can consider, a championship that we can consider a very good one, and potentially a marvelous championship. So let's have fun during these 3 days, and let's go on with our presentation.
Thank you so much, Claudia. So, Borgo Panigale factory living its best moment, but never stops. He wants to continue and grow with Pecco and Mark. So, Claudio, we've known each other for a long time. I had the pleasure of attending so many Ducati events, and something that always strikes me when I listen to you speaking from the stage is your passion, the passion that you always show. And yesterday I found the same kind of passion in another person that I met yesterday. And since we're talking about technology as well, I would like to welcome a person who represents a very important company for Ducati as a technology partner and now as a title sport. I'm talking about the president of Lenovo's Intelligent Devices division, Luca Rossi. Luca, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for representing Lenovo, such an important company, and for being here in person. And I always like to talk about emotions, so I would like to know how you're feeling right now.
Well, first of all, hello and good morning, everyone. It's beautiful to be here to celebrate our 8th season, the starting of our 8th season together with Ducati. And when I think about this, I think of 2018, so our first season. We were technological partner back then, and we grew together. And we are now a title partner out of a common desire. And Claudio, I think that we went a long, long road together, a long that was rich in challenges, but also very good results.
So we're talking about a long time, a long journey you made together. We're talking about a company which is an integral part of the Ducati family, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think that this is part of our doing business and the way we work, and the people who work with us are part of a family. And this is also the right moment to say that this partner is a very passionate one and very positive one in general for the contribution they gave us and they give us, and maybe we will talk about that later, but also the technological component of this partner and what they bring to the table is such a crucial element for us, because we consider that technology is key.
So a long and amazing journey. How important is this journey along alongside Ducati for Lenovo.
I think it's an immense source of pride to be part of this journey, and in MotoGP, technology isn't just an accessory, it's a fundamental component, an element that drives innovation. We live in an era in MotoGP, but not only, where the margins between teams are really incredibly thin, and every fraction of a second counts. And in this context, technology enables both teams and riders to push their limits with advanced solutions that once seemed unimaginable and impossible. I think it's thrilling to put our solutions to the test in such a super demanding and challenging environment. And naturally, just to conclude what Claudio said, when you share values, passions, goals, and working methods, the partnership is destined for success.
In talking about success, I might say that especially in the last 3 years, there has been no lack of success. But to keep on the right track, talking about the journey we mentioned, what do you think, Luca, is the most important technological aspect to consider this year?
Data. Data is the fundamental pillar for getting and gaining a competitive advantage, as it allows to analyze every detail, to define and adapt strategies in real time. With AI, you said that earlier on, it will become faster and easier. Artificial intelligence, with its ability to process huge amounts of information and learn from past behaviors, this will accelerate technological evolution, I reckon, allowing us to continue to improve performances and anticipate future challenges. The engineers of the Ducati Lenovo team are empowered by artificial intelligence, so they will have even more detailed, timely information at their disposal in less time. And as I like to say, AI is a superpower that is in the hands of Ducati engineers and riders. But this new era of AI has just begun, and I am deeply convinced that this will be a competitive advantage for Ducati in the coming years when we will be partners.
Yeah, this is just the beginning, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Claudio, we know that you're a big fan of technology, so I guess that these words are music to your ears.
Oh yes, they are. We never forget that in the end, riders make the difference. So they are our heroes. And today we will talk about Pecco, we will talk about Mark. So this is not only about science and technology, pilots first, riders first, but the fact of giving them a sophisticated object like Desmo 16 GP25 is very key in order to have good results and successful results. And if we want to achieve these results, all the work is fundamental. And so data is a very important pivotal element because of the chance we have to analyze data.
Claudio and Luca, thank you so much for explaining how everything works and why this collaboration between Ducati and Lenovo is successful. I'll see you shortly. But thank you once again. So we are approaching, we've been very fast, you need to be fast on track, but also on the stage. So we are approaching the unveiling moment, so we're going to see the Ducati Lenovo Team 2025 with Pecco and Mark for the first time wearing red. But before doing so, I would like to call on the stage a person that we all know very well. He's the person that supervises the team, every part of the team. So I think you know who I'm talking about. Let's give a warm
Allora, caro Gigi, stai bene?
Benissimo, grazie.
E come fai a non
Are you okay, Gigi? Of course you are.
Well, the success is a very light thing to bear, and it's a beautiful thing. Last year was a historical one, and we are so proud.
So you're talking about last year. I'm sure we all remember all the wins, the emotions we experienced, all the smiles, how excited we were until the very last race. But sometimes words are not enough. So I would like you to ask you to come with me, and now we would like to show you a short video.
Qua non serve chiamare l'applauso, Gigi.
We don't need to ask for a big round of applause in this case. So many emotions we've experienced.
So many feelings and great emotions last year. An incredible year, and the results speak by themselves. So proud.
Talking about numbers, I would like to ask you, when you have such a great season, you have astronomical numbers, how can you still improve? Is it possible to improve?
Well, I think it's complicated and maybe impossible. So it would be maybe impossible to better compared to last season and do better compared to last year, but we can improve ourselves, that's for sure. So we can get to the objective we have, to the goal, final goal we have, winning the pilot, riders and constructors championships. So it's not important to do better compared to last season, I don't think so. The important thing is to win. It's not to win it all. Sometimes you get to be not the good guy when you win everything, but we have this objective. We want to win both championships.
Gigi, we said you supervise the whole team. We just watched the video, but now I will ask you to bring us to the pit lane. We have two multi-time champions, Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez. What can we expect from this new season that starts today?
Well, we have two champions, and in my view, they are the best riders on the grid in 2025, and they will be. We have them in our garage. Pecco is a fantastic driver and rider that we chose with no doubts last year, and he brought us back and gave us back the Riders' Championships. He could confirm his position the following year, and in the last years he's always been the protagonist, fighting for the world title to the end. And Marc, well, from an objective standpoint, he's one of the best riders and MotoGP riders, modern MotoGP, but maybe all-time MotoGP. He had serious injuries, one serious injury in particular, and he spent time with us last year, and he did marvelous things. And it's such a privilege and a beautiful thing to have him in our team. I think that this is already a very nice story to tell.
I can't wait to see this story on the track during the tests. But I'm curious also about seeing these two great champions in red for the first time on this stage. So I think we are approaching the most awaited moment, their moment. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, Pecco Bagnaia, Marc Marquez, the Ducati Lenovo Team 2025. How exciting seeing these two champions in red for the first time together on this stage. It's amazing to see you guys. I'm very excited. And I guess that all Ducati fans are also excited. The ones following us from home, and it's an honor for me to be on this stage to collect the first statements of 2025. I'll start with you, Pecco.
Hello, everyone. It's beautiful.
So for the 5th season with the Ducati Lenovo Team colors, and in these 5 years you have become the most successful rider in the history of Ducati with 29 wins and 2 world titles. 5 years. A lot of things have changed. Can you talk us to us about your emotions, how they've evolved over these 5 years?
You know, sometimes somebody asks the question, well, will you be in 5 years? Well, I could say that talking about the last 5 years, I've always found myself in a beautiful environment, so supportive, or under all the different angles. Sometimes I'm not an easy person, I'm not an easy rider, and they were with me all the time in the last 5 years. In particular, all the evolution, all the developments, this progressive and gradual development is a source of pride for me that I was part. I was part of this development of this team, and an already very strong team, growing even stronger. 19 wins out of 20 last year, 13 team wins, 14 team wins. Well, this is an incredible result, and I hope I can go on like this, and we can go on like this. And red is a beautiful color. It fits me. And it suits me very well, and suits us very well, and it's such a thrilling moment. This bike is spectacular. We are ready.
Thank you, Pecco. I'll be with you in a second again, but so we have Pecco, who has lived so many emotions in red, and red suits him very well, but I can say the same about you, Marc. And talking about red, which is the color associated with emotions, with the heart, so how are you feeling? It's your first time here in Madonna di Campiglio. Can you talk about your emotions, please?
Hello, everyone. I already said all in red. This is really exciting. I have a long experience in MotoGP, but the fact of entering a new, very important reference and benchmark team is such an emotion for me. This is the starting moment of a new project for me, and I'm so happy to be here. I fought against Ducati so much, but now I gain my smile back. They smiled at me, and this is a privilege.
Now I'll go back to Pecco. Last year, so you showed once again your amazing talent. We talked about your numbers, your wins. I know you're satisfied, but I know you very well. I know you're not 100% satisfied. So I would like to ask you, how motivated are you to start a season in which you may take back a title?
Well, yes, considering the results, last season was an incredible one. As we said, 19 victories, so 19 wins in MotoGP is an amazing result. So this was made possible only by 2 other riders in the story of MotoGP. So that was fantastic. But, you know, I didn't have the world title. So this is also the reason why we ride and we compete. So during this winter, I tried to analyze all my mistakes and all the things that we can enhance as a team, so that we can start off this season being even more motivated. We have a new teammate, I have a new teammate, and we will start working with him in 2 weeks. and we will do an amazing work, and whoever will win. And for the time being, everything is really thrilling and exciting from a sports point of view. And we are strong, and we really want to conclude and get the results we didn't get last year.
So you said very stimulating, right? I guess it's the same for you, Mark. You will have to face a lot of challenges. I can see your historic number 93, but you know you have a new team and new teammates. We can see 93 sticking on your red Desmo 16. What goals have you set for yourself for 2025?
Well, this is a benchmark team in MotoGP. In the last 4 years, Ducati has always been the reference for everyone. And they already had a very powerful bike. But as Gigi said, we want to win the constructor, the riders and the teams, championships, and we want to work and win as a team. It's not who wins, but it's the team and the constructors and everyone who in Ducati who can win. And let's see at the end where we are at in the standings.
Mark and Pecco, thank you so much. You can stay here on the stage with us. You're a sort of dream team, a team that we follow from home all the time at each race. But behind this team, there are a lot of people who work in harmony and ensure this success. And I would like to assemble on this stage this great team. And in order to do so, I would like to call on the stage a great rider who holds the record for the most kilometers ridden on the Desmo 16.
Ciao, buongiorno a tutti.
Hello everyone.
Abbiamo tempo, ma andiamo avanti con la presentazione.
So we have you here on the stage, but let's go on with the introduction of all the other team members. So, other people that will accompany the Ducati fans during this season. So we have the Ducati Corse General Manager Gigi Ducati Corse Sporting Director Mauro Grassini. Ducati Corse Technical Director Davide Barana. The Ducati Lenovo Team Manager Davide Cardozzi. Wow, you all look so good together. So we have great news for Gigi, Pecco and Mark. You've already talked a lot, I've asked you a lot of questions, and you have 2 full days of interviews ahead of you, so I'll leave you alone for a moment. And I will talk to the 4 of you. Are you feeling comfortable there, sitting on the bike? Anyway, so let's move on. I would like to ask you a question, which is quite peculiar, and it's the same for the 4 of you. There are a lot of words we can use, but I would like to ask you what is, from your point of view, the key word that best describes this 2025 Ducati Lenovo team. Let's start with Mauro.
Hello everyone, I'm really excited to be here and to see you all again. My keyword is harmony for this new season. I deeply believe in human relationships, and we invest as Ducati very much in human relationships, and this was the added value that gave us the chance to conquer the results we conquered these last years. And I'm really happy to be here with the riders, with the team, with our sponsors and the journalists and our friend from VR46 and all the others, and Audi and all the others. And this is a good chance to consolidate our human relationships. This is a very good starting point.
So now I would like to ask Davide Barana the same.
Hello everyone. The key word for me will be work. For this year, we had an incredible team with 2 multi-time champions. It's an honor for us. It's also a huge responsibility. So we will have to work so much in order to give them the best materials.
Davide Cardozzi, what about you?
challenge. This is my keyword, because yes, we will have beautiful and incredibly nice challenges. My professional challenge will be the management of this garage and people who have 11 world titles on their back in their record, and also help on the track these two riders. And also a challenge will be the other teams, and they will do their best not to have us dominate. And this is the beauty of this sport.
Michele, it's your turn.
Hello, everyone. Dream team. This is my keyword. Maybe it's two words, but I hope you accept them. And I think that dream team is the good term if we really want to define this 2025 Ducati Lenovo team, because the amount of talent on this stage is amazing. And I don't want to forget the pride I have and the privilege I have to work with Mark and Pecco. It's an honor for me. So dream team, that's what I wanted to say.
So you said it very fast, so let's pretend it's just one word. Thank you. Gigi, I told you I would have let you alone in peace for a while, but did you believe me? Well, I won't ask you what's your keyword for the season, but I see the Desmosedici once again, but every time it seems even greater, it looks even better. But beyond beauty, which is evident, I know you've worked very hard during the winter, and thanks to tests, you find out a lot of things, but I'm very curious. What can you tell us more about this?
Not much, as usual.
I know you very well, and I try it every year.
But the objective we have for this year is not to have a completely new bike, it's to better the bike we had. So the basis is already very sound, very good. Last year's bike gave us so many gratifications and good results. So we have worked on some new solutions and new developments on that bike, on this bike. But talking about the test that will start in 2 weeks, well, the material we have to try is so much. We have a new swing arm, new chassis, we have a new fairing, completely new one, and we also have other elements that have been adapted and retouched. So we will have to experience and try them, all these materials. But we will be very strict in the selection of the materials that really work, that will make the difference for sure. And maybe we will leave the other elements that we have some doubts on to the side, and then maybe we will try them during the season. So there are so many things to evaluate, to assess, and also on the basis of our competitors and what they will do. And I like to take risks. I always did. I did it. I always took my risks in my life, but you have to be smart in taking risks. You have to risk it when it's the good moment to.
Thank you, Gigi. I will gain the center of the stage. Why? Well, Gigi, you can stay here with me, same with Davide. I would like to thank Mark, Michele Piro, Pecco Bagnaia, Davide Tardozzi, and Mauro Grassili. And a big round of applause for them. So, we talked about technology a lot. I have a lot of questions to ask you about these, but I've already asked too many questions, and now we're going to watch a video about technology.
في السنوات الأخيرة حاولنا دائما نحن فريق إنوفو خلق بيئة عائلية للغاية وبيئة تعاونية للغاية. ليس من السهل دائما التوصل إلى توافق بين العديد من الأشخاص، لكننا من خلال العمل معا باستمرار نتمكن دائما من تحقيق نتائج رائعة وجزء كبير. هذه النتائج الرائعة يأتي أيضا من تكنولوجيا إنوفو.
在任何车手背后都有一个日复一日工作的团队，帮助去的这些成绩。Ducati拥有一个优秀的团队，同时也拥有先进的技术。联想为我们提供了最好的工具，让我们能够实现目标，并在每个周末争取胜利。
Beh, direi che c'è un applauso.
Well, Another big round of applause. I could hear some voices in the room because I must say that we are pretty excited about this video. It's a video that summarizes. I would like to quote Domenicali when he talks about Ducati system with the human and technological components that are perfectly summarized in this video. To talk about technology, I would like to welcome once again on the stage
Luca, ben ritrovato.
Grazie. Luca, welcome back. So before we were talking about two amazing bikes, but now we've seen them. So how do you feel about them? They're great, right?
Oh yes, they are beautiful. They're absolutely wonderful. And I think that we can say this is another source of pride, for us. This is a showcase of the excellence of Made in Italy by Ducati. And design, innovation, power, all the values that are at the core of our partnership and at the core of Lenovo. So I'm so looking forward to seeing them on the track.
Of course, because when we follow you, we can also see the technological side of things on top of talent, which is key, of course. Gigi, how important is it for Ducati to be able to count on a technological partner of excellence like Lenovo?
Well, we owe much of our success to the technological development that we brought to the track, and that Lenovo helped us to realize. So having a partner like Lenovo that has technological development at the heart, at the core of what they do is a privilege.
Look, I can see you smiling.
Oh yes, I'm so proud. On behalf of Lenovo, I'm so happy to hear that maybe we made our contribution and we actually contributed with our developments to the success you had. Technology is at the basis of motorsports. This is the chance we have, and you have to bring things to the limit and also overcome limits, thus adapting to the situation, thus responding in real time. And so technology, for those who can use it, gives the chance to also to control, to maximize security, safety, and also have a better management of resources, fuel, tires, and many other things. The tools we have today, simulation systems, AI, allow riders and engineers to analyze data in a matter of seconds, to get to the right setup, to make strategic decisions in real time and get to that competitive advantage that is pivotal to win. Is it true, Davide? Yes, Luca. It's a matter of few minutes when you work in the pit lane, and so Lenovo technology is a very important tool for us in order to get and to make those decisions in real time, in order to analyze data and see if the bike is performing well, or if we can better something. We know we are such a demanding partner for you, and about technology and tests and everything else, but it's a challenge that I think you want to accept.
Luca, do you also enjoy these challenges?
And we also like them, and we enjoy them, because thanks to these challenges we can figure out new, innovative and more resilient solutions, more and more resilient solutions. So the technology that Ducati brings to the track are the same technologies that inspire other products that we realize and produce for other consumers and other companies around the world. So if our solutions are so performing under the rain of Motegi or in the dust of the desert, well, that means that maybe we can easily respond to all the needs of our customers all over the world. Another aspect we were talking about, is about data. Data is key, and we have more and more data, and we analyze them on the track, remotely. Just to give you an idea, we're talking about more than 100 gigabytes of data that we collect every weekend from each bike, and each bike has more than 50 sensors today. Is it true? Yes, it is. Maybe our fans don't realize the amount of work and the amount of analysis that we carry out on the track, but also off the track remotely. We have in Borgo Panigale our Lenovo Remote Garage, which is a facility that where we work on the more complex data analysis. But another thing, last year we also introduced a new technology. It's a robot that can scan the circuit, the track, and gives us very important information on the track. And with this data, engineers create a digital twin to help with simulations.
Gigi, I would say that it's pretty clear that this partnership between Ducati and Lenovo is moving in the direction of continuous innovation. So I'm looking at the present, but also at the future. I guess that there will be a lot of innovation. Can you tell us a little bit about the next innovation? Why am I asking you this, Gigi?
Well, we have here the bike that ended last season with some modifications, and we will test it and collect data in 2 weeks in Sepang, and we'll also see new things.
So Sepang, and not only, we'll see you all together once again, ready to write that blank book we were talking about with Claudio Domenicali. So let's talk the protagonists of this book on the stage. So a big round of applause for the Ducati Lenovo Team 2025 official riders, Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez.
Ben ritrovati ragazzi!
Welcome back, guys, and now the official Ducati Corse tester Michele Pirro. Ducati Corse Sporting Director Mauro Grassili. Ducati Lenovo Team Manager Davide Perdozzi. Here we are all together. We're just missing one person, and for the grand finale, I would like to thank and call on the stage once again the CEO of Ducati, Claudio Domenicali. Claudio, what a team. Now I leave you the floor.
Yes, for sure. That was amazing. This presentation was amazing, and then the track will speak for itself. We are so thrilled, so excited, so proud of the work that's been done. I think that Ducati Corse will start this season in the best conditions, and have fun, guys.
Thank you, Claudio. The Ducati Lenovo Team 2025 presentation ends here, but Campioni in Pista continues. And talking about that, tomorrow there will be a very peculiar interview to Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. It's not going to be a traditional interview, but a peculiar interview. Don't miss it. It's going to be on the official Ducati YouTube channel. Let's talk about our next appointments. For example, Sunday, February the 9th, the opening of the MotoGP World Championship in Bangkok, and then our first race in Thailand. And thank you once again to the people, the audience in the room, and the fans following us from home. Have a great season, and go Ducati. Thank you.
So, there we go then. Officially unveiled is the 2025 challengers for Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. How weird is it to see that 93 on a red Ducati? Not too much change in terms of delivery, but there's only so much you can do, isn't there, with a factory red machine with the Lenovo sponsors. Pretty much the same as last year, but we don't mind that at all. A 63, a new look on the factory Ducati for the first time in a couple of years, and of course the 93 all in red. A reminder, we'll be seeing those two in Bangkok on the 9th of February in a few weeks' time. And this is a little bit of the promo you saw earlier on about the event. If you're around Bangkok or in Thailand or can get to it, then please do. It's free to go. It's going to be an unmissable event, completely free to enter. If you're in and around Bangkok, then please do visit. Entertainment starts at around 3:30. All the riders there, all the teams are there. It's going to be a great day to officially kick off 2025 in MotoGP. Come on, Pecco, go for the third. Cheers from Rosario, Argentina. Looking forward to going back to Argentina this year, of course. Fascinating to see how everyone gets on there. Lovely support, as always, down in South America. MM93 and FB63 #1 in MotoGP. That is the question. Who will be #1 at the end of the year between those two? If it is going to be between those two, of course. There's other protagonists involved as well. Marc looks so good in red. Yes, I have to agree as well. It does look good. The Todo al Rojo testing livery was pretty good, but the official colours look even better. The 93 slapped on the front for factory Ducati for the first time. Fantastic stuff. So, will Marc Marquez then be crowned 2025 World Champion? Our next poll, our last poll of the presentation. Answer A or yes for yes, of course, or B and no for no. Get your thoughts in. Will Marc Marquez be crowned 2025 World Champion? I think that is the question on everyone's lips before the season starts. He's a pre-season favourite in many eyes. Can he beat Pecco Bagnaia and others to that title now? He's on the best bike, in the best team. He said it himself. It's all in his hands now. He said at the Estrella Galicia event he did just at the end of last season. Of course, Estrella Galicia, a massive sponsor of Marc Marquez. You saw them on his helmet as well this year. Hello from Rhode Island, USA. Can't wait to see this livery in person and to see the boys in red batting in 25 from Mike Stumpy Neckritz. Yes, absolutely. Can't wait to see them battling away, of course. Starting in round one as well, the dream team. It's been likened by Davide Tardozzi, Gigi Dall'Igna. All the Ducati guys are calling this the dream team, and it's hard to argue against it, isn't it? So many world titles between them, so many race wins. It really is the formidable partnership in MotoGP in 2025. We are 93, all in red, always with you, Marc. Yes, plenty of support, of course, for Marc Marquez, and I think a lot of allegiance is switching over to the red of Ducati in the Spaniards' camp. His fans all around the world, but especially in Spain. And on the other side of the coin, Pecco forever. The Italian fans, and of course Pecco has admirers from across the globe. It's going to be interesting to see how that fight plays out. Plenty of support from them both. Good luck to both of you from the Philippines. I assume that's to Pecco and Marc, not to me and Jack, but we'll take it anyway. I'm joking, of course. Yeah, good luck to Marc and Pecco. We want to see a hard battle, but obviously a fair battle as well in 2025, which I'm sure it will be. But I think Davide Tardozzi mentioned that word challenge. It is going to be a massive challenge for him to keep it all cool, calm and collected in the Ducati box in 2025. If you're attending a race in 2025, which we do hope you are, I'm sure many of you are planning to do so, but even if you can't get to a race, get kitted out with the official 2025 MotoGP store. Some fascinating, some fantastic merchandise for you to wear, for you to get collected, get geared up to go trackside in 2025, or just simply watch from your home to get kitted out. Some magnificent deals online as well. Here we go then. Will Marc Marquez be crowned 2025 World Champion? 71% of you so far, of course. This is live. Keep getting your votes in to see what the final vote will be. But 71% of you thinking that he will be crowned 2025 MotoGP World Champion. 29% of you think that he won't. Intrigued to see and hear your comments potentially. If Marc isn't going to be crowned 2025 World Champion, who is? I'm sure a lot of you think Pecco will be. Hedging your bets on potentially Jorge Martin keeping that #1 at Aprilia. If they can bring a good bike, then they're going to need to take the fight to Ducati, of course. Ducati are currently leading the way. But let's have a closer look then at the livery. The 63 has changed slightly from before. He's got a little bit of a pattern, hasn't he, on the bottom of the 63 as Pekka Bagnaia. Yeah, lovely. I like his helmet as well, like a leafy sort of style on top of that helmet. Mark has gone pretty much all red for his helmet. Estrella Galizia on the side, and that 93, a red 93 on the front of that machine. There he is, Marc Marquez with his familiar Ant sort of style helmet. It does look good. It does look good. We always like a little bit of a change, don't we, in the liveries? Sometimes it can get a bit repetitive, a little bit boring. We always like to see a bit of change, but although it's not changed too much, the red and the black, it does go really, really nicely together. It's so weird seeing Marc Marquez in red, isn't it? Really, really strange. That is going to take some getting used to. We're hopefully going to see the red livery on track in Sepang and Thailand. We'll probably see parts of it, but obviously they'll be running testing liveries as well when they run through all their testing programs. But once we get to Thailand, of course, that red will be on track from minute 1. So it's going to take some getting used to, but he does look good in red. So latest poll results, it's grown to 81% of you now thinking Marc Marquez will be world champion. I can't say I blame you. I think going into it, a lot of people, as reflected on the vote, and I think a lot of people I speak to, Jack and all the other team members as well, friends here in the office, I think we're going to lean towards Marc Marquez, but it's a real close toss-up between Pecco and Marc before wheel is turned in anger. Of course, we hope to see the likes of KTM and Aprilia bridge the gap, Yamaha of course too, and Honda. It's going to be difficult for those guys to try and match Ducati and take the title challenge to Ducati and these two riders in 2025. But you got to feel that the gap hopefully will be closer from a neutral's perspective. This is just a little bit of a replay then of what we just saw over in Italy, and this was them officially taking the covers off the GP25s, the factory spec GP25s. Fabio Di Gianantonio will be on the only other factory spec machine. We'll be seeing the VR46 livery unveiled in a few days' time. Let us know what you think about the livery, of course, in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts on the 63 painted on the front of Pecco's bike, the 93, of course, painted on Marc Marquez. Marc will be 0.5 seconds per lap quicker than Pecco from Denny. That is some statement to make there, Denny. I'm not sure I quite agree with you. Potentially on some occasions he might be, maybe around the Saxon Ring or the Circuit Americas he might be, but 0.5 seconds over the year is some going. What a livery, Vamos Marc. Yeah, definitely agree with that. As I said, not much change to the factory Ducati livery, but there was never going to be really, like I say, there's only so much you can do, but it does look good, especially under those lights. So in Qatar, that's going to look very, very nice indeed. Marc will be highly competitive this year in 2025, as well as Pecco. We need to redeem the title. This is going to be a great year for these two riders. Of course, Marc will be competitive. He was competitive last year. Great to see Marc back up at the front fighting. He wasn't quite as consistent maybe as we all thought he would be. A few crashes here and there, but you could tell he was trying a bit too hard at times to try and keep with the leap forward that the GP24 made last year with Pecco and Martin. Going back to 2024, of course, we mentioned it earlier on in the show, but you can watch very soon our documentary, There Can Be Only One. And there was a heated moment, of course, in Portimao between the two riders that are in question, Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez, that famous crash that led to both of them suffering a DNF, and a DNF at the end cost Pecco Bagnaia somewhat in the title change. But here's the promo. Enjoy it once again.
The world's fastest riders are ready to hit full throttle once again. MotoGP is back. The party starts right here and now. Is this lunatic battle between Bagnaia and Marquez?
Non è né colpa tua né colpa mia, ma tutti e due a terra.
Shark attack. It's the rookie sensation Acosta. It's a race win behind Martin. Three names for the most coveted seat in MotoGP.
Calici perché io c'ho la new.
Magic Maverick Vinales, the Top Gun is back on top.
We don't give up until we reach the very top of this class.
Honestly, I would be pissed off in KTM's position if they manage to lose him.
Pra Magnus un occhio.
Masterpiece from world champion Pecco Bagnaia. Whoa! Here comes Marc Marquez, one of the greatest comebacks in Grand Prix history.
Bien quedaría mi nombre ahí.
But here comes Martin with the element of surprise.
There are more title contenders than ever, but there can be only one.
Well worth a watch, I can assure you of that. A fascinating behind-the-scenes look into how the 2024 title was won. And talking of title winning, Pecco will be 2025 MotoGP World Champion, says Lelucci. It's a good bet, a solid bet. Marc Marquez 93 can definitely be the 2025 MotoGP World Champion, says Aquarius. Yes, he definitely can be. Question is, will he be? Marc Marquez comes into it, of course, after his best season in a long time. He picked up 5 podiums between 21 and 23 and then picked up 10 in 2024 once he jumped on to a Ducati. Here's the latest poll results then. It's growing ever more for the yes column. 84% of you now think Marc Marquez will be crowned MotoGP World Champion in 2025, and 84% of you potentially could be right come the end of the year. It's going to be a really, really intriguing battle to see who can stop Marc Marquez. The lead protagonist will be Pecco Bagnaia, of course, both donning red. And as I mentioned before, the challenge for Tardozzi and Ducati will be to try and keep it all not nice in terms of the relationship. Well, yes, turns a nice relationship, but they want them to be battling hard, to be pushing each other to the maximum to ensure that the red Ducatis, the two of them, one of them will be the title winner. I don't think Ducati will be bothered about which one is, but they want to reclaim that number one off Jorge Martin, of course, who won in Prima Pramac Ducati colours. Prima Pramac switching to Yamaha, of course. We'll see that presentation in about a week's time. But they want to reclaim that number one, and they've got pretty much the best duo. They certainly feel like it. I think most people also certainly feel like it, that they could have got Jorge Martin. I think we'll have something to say about that as the reigning world champion, of course. But Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia, as Jack mentioned earlier on, the best partnership we've ever seen, apart from Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi when they were both in the factory Yamaha colours a few years ago. Just some pictures then, again, of the riders pulling off the covers of their machines. We'll be seeing them on track again in around about 2 weeks' time at the official Sepang test. Can't wait for that. We'll be there live on the ground, also doing After the Flag live as well from in the studio and from the Sepang International Circuit. And then after that, we will have, as we've mentioned before, the Bangkok official promo launch event for the 2025 season. This is the video, once again, as I've said before, as we've all mentioned before, if you can get to it, please do. If not, of course, it's going to be streamed worldwide, so you can enjoy it from wherever you are. But if you can get to Thailand, if you're planning on going to the first race, why not extend your holiday? Okay, a couple of weeks or more is quite a long time to extend it by, but get yourself to Thailand if you can. Get yourself to Bangkok, a wonderful city to enjoy if you've never been before, and a chance to meet your heroes. The MotoGP riders will all be there. A hero walk, of course, entertainment as well. Marc looks very menacing in red. Vamos, Marc. He looks pretty menacing whenever he's on track, doesn't he? Even in Grassini blue colours, but red does add that little bit of a menacing touch to Marc Marquez. Pecco is razor sharp. He's going to need to be, isn't he, in 2025. He was on Sunday in 2024 with 11 race wins. Only Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez have equalled or bettered that. Marquez holds the record with 13 wins in the season, remember. So he's going to have to be razor sharp more on a Saturday than he was in 2024. This livery really, really suits the riders well. Agreed. We're obviously used to seeing Pecco in reds. That's not a new thing, but seeing Marc in reds is a very new thing. Very strange to see, but it does suit him very well. 63 forever, a Pecco Bagnaia fan. Plenty of you out there, of course. Pecco will be hoping it's not 63 forever. Of course, 63 he holds dearly. He has it on the back of his helmet, even when he's running the number one plate on the front of his machine. But this was the first time we saw the 63 back on the front of a Ducati since 2022 when he won his first MotoGP World Championship title. Absolutely loved that livery. I was standing there in pit lane taking a few photos and getting videos when he first pulled out of pit lane. Absolutely love the white and red livery. Hopefully we can see a few special liveries across the season for Ducati. Of course, at Mugello they usually bring out a special one. They use the blue for the Italian football team in recent years, as well as others. I love a yellow livery as well. Let us know in the comments what your favourite type of liveries are. I'm an absolute sucker for a yellow livery. I can't explain why, I just enjoy it. And this is him on the red machine. As you can see, not too much different to what it would have looked like in 2025. Plenty of comments coming in. Love hearts, emojis. 63 go free from Ariana Usula. The 63 then on the front of Pecco's machine once again. But it is the number 93 that plenty of focus will be on, of course. Look at that outside of his garage, as expected. I don't think it was quite the melee that we saw in front of the garage when he rode out for the first time on a Ducati at the 2023 Valencia test, but it was pretty special to see him in reds. The best rider and pilot, MM93. Hard to disagree, isn't it? 8-time world champion. Sure, a lot of you, especially the Italians in the Valentino Rossi corner, will disagree with that one. Marc Marquez, the king. Harry Callahan there with that comment. Will he be the king once again? Hasn't, of course, won a title since 2019. We all know what happened in 2020. Missed that season through that injury that then plagued him for another couple of years. He finally got fixed right, and then the Honda wasn't quite working as well as he wanted it to. Couldn't do what he wanted. Even thought about retirement, of course, did Marc Marquez before jumping on to the Gresini Ducati in 2024. And the rest is history in terms of last year. Back to winning ways. 1,043 days later, remember, in Aragon. A dominant weekend, sprint win. First Grand Prix win. And then they got a couple more, didn't he? Of course, in Misano and in Australia. Fascinating battle between him and Jorge Martin at Phillip Island. Pecco and Marc pair in 2025 really is a dream team. Absolutely is a dream team. Multiple world champions riding for the same machine, for the same team. Hard to disagree with that. If you don't think that is the dream team, then let us know who you do think the dream team is. Maybe you think Binder and Acosta is the dream team. Fabio Quartararo and Alex Rins, Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi. Plenty of really, really strong partnerships in 2025. I think that's really what's making us having a tantalising season. Seeing, hopefully, the other riders and teams make a bit of a step. The teams, sorry, not the riders. The teams making a bit of a step to close the gap in Ducati, and then we've got a fascinating season ahead. For me, score of 25, factory Ducati team livery is 9 out of 10. High ratings there from Rizal. Unfortunate badge there, unfortunately. I'm a big Liverpool fan, so apologies for the Arsenal badge there. But yeah, 9 out of 10, a really, really strong rating and a fair rating as well. I think I'd give it definitely an 8 or 9. I do love the reds livery of the factory Ducati. Nice livery Ducati course. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think it's hard to not like the Ducati livery. As I said, we always like to see a little bit of a change. There has been a bit of a change, I think, on the side fairing. The pattern sort of on the front runs a bit more further around. You could just see a sneak peek of it there. But the red of Ducati, especially with Marc Marquez on it, does look very, very nice indeed. All are done for Marc Marquez to enjoy again and be champion. He enjoyed his time last year, back to winning ways, said he found himself again, realised that he can still enjoy it, he can still win, still fight at the front, and now he has all the tools in his hands to go and try and claim that elusive 9th world title. He wants it so, so bad, does Marc Marquez. From Honda to Gresini, then securing a factory seat in the best team. What a genius athlete. Yeah, genius is a word that you could definitely describe Marc Marquez as. An 8-time world champion, moving from Honda to Gresini, the biggest decision of his life. It did not come easy to him, as we all know. It's well documented how tough that was to move from Honda, whereas won all 6 of his MotoGP World Championships so far, to Gresini, an independent team. It was a massive risk, and then secured the factory seat. Marc Marquez beating Jorge Martin and Enea Bastianini to being chosen by Ducati to partner Pecco Bagnaia in 2025, and the Todo al Rojo is homage to betting it all on reds. This is his chance now. This is his chance to win 1, 2, 3, however many more titles that he can before he eventually, of course, retires. Just how far Marc Marquez can go in factory red remains to be seen, but what a prospect it is. But Pecco Bagnaia will of course be hoping to stop him in his tracks. Has finished in the top 2 in the last 4 seasons since joining the factory team as Pecco Bagnaia, second of course to Fabio Quartararo, then won back-to-back titles in 2022 and 2023, and then just pipped to the post by Jorge Martin in 2024, as we know. Good luck both of you with Ducati Lenovo Team, absolutely. A lot of fans wishing them both well, as we all do. Safe and fair racing, of course, we want to see in MotoGP, but we also want to see a bit of fair in bashing, a bit of needle between the two. That's what sport is all about. That's what rivalry is all about. We want to see some rivalries, and I think we're going to get it in 2025. There's no doubt about that. Pecco and Marc will be unbeatable in 2025 from Xerxes Kai. Yeah, pretty much. I think that's the potential feeling with a lot of people, that they're going to be pretty unbeatable. I mean, if Ducati can hold the same advantage as they did in 2024 to the competitors, then there's going to be no stopping them really. But you feel like Aprilia with the world champion on board, a new rider lineup, fresh motivation, fresh ideas coming from Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi coming from Ducati, of course. So you hope Aprilia will make that step forward. Both of those guys were really impressed with the front end feel of that Aprilia. So more things to come from Aprilia, but heading into pre-season testing, of course, we're going to learn a lot about where each manufacturer is at in pre-season, of course, in Sepang, and then afterwards in Thailand before round 1. But as things stand at the minute, before a wheel is turned in anger, Pecco and Marc and Ducati are obviously heading into 2025 as heavy favourites. So there you go, on the screen there you can see the 2022 and 2023 MotoGP World Champion Pecco Bagnaia is waiting to speak to Jack Appleyard, so I reckon we can throw over to them right now. Jacko, over to you, mate.
Yeah, great to be here with the former world champion Pecco Bagnaia. A lot of change coming in 2025. New number on the front, new teammate in the box. Are we going to see a new Pecco Bagnaia out on track as well?
Better not, because considering the results, it's better to don't change myself. But in any case, I have just to improve myself and do a little step. But I think will be a super exciting season. A new teammate, new bike. So I think we have to be really focused and understand as soon as possible the new bike in the test and try to be ready in the first race of the calendar.
You mentioned the results of last year there, 11 victories. How have you come to terms with what happened in Barcelona over the last couple of months? How have you managed to process the fact that the World Championship didn't go your way despite having such a successful year?
Honestly, it's difficult to be sad about what we did last year, honestly. Surely finishing second in the championship, being the fastest, was a bit a shame, because we won more than the double of all the others riders. So absolutely was a fantastic season. But I have just improved from my mistakes. We have just improved on some situation where we did some mistakes as a team last year. So this is something that is more easy to learn how to don't crash than learn how to win. So I think will be a good process. I learned from our mistakes, and I think we can improve.
You mentioned the small improvements. I'm sure you, like many of us, watched the documentary that Ducati put out over the winter period. In particular, the scene with Davide when he was begging you to be less of a gentleman. Now, opposite in the box with Marc is maybe one of the most ungentlemanly riders on the grid. Marc will win at all costs. So are we going to see less of a gentleman from Pecco Bagnaia this year?
I let him to be the ungentleman. I be the gentleman, and I will always be like this, and I will not change anytime.
And just finally, let's touch on this new partnership. 8 MotoGP World Championships in the box. Only Valentino and Jorge, when they were together in 2016. Have we ever seen more in the history of the sport? How much pleasure does that give you, being a part of such a dream team? But also, let's touch on the challenges that that's going to bring as well.
It's super exciting. It's absolutely the strongest team in the grid. So I think we can take an advantage from it, and I will try to learn from some things about Marc. I think he will adapt super good to the team, and the first part during the test we will work together, trying to improve the bike and trying to arrive to the first race ready. and then what will happen will happen. But I'm quite sure and confident that our potential could be matched every races in the first and second position, and the bike will allow us to do it. So it will be important to try to do it, and who will win, but the potential is there.
Pecco, great to see you. Good luck in 2025.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great to hear from Pecco. Cheers to Jack for posing the questions there, of course, over in Italy. Interesting to hear his thoughts. So Pecco Bagnaia then heading into 2025 with fresh motivation after losing the number one plate. Of course, he knows that Marc Marquez will not take long bedding himself in to the Ducati way of working, Ducati way of thinking. And Pecco knows that he is going to be a thorn in his side all the way through this title chase. Between the two of them, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. As for Marquez, of course, he knows that, and he said before in a couple of interviews that he's done, that he thinks Pecco will be the lead protagonist in the test and in the first few races. Talking of Marc, we can head over back to Italy with Jack and Marc himself. Head over there now. Jack, all yours, mate.
Well, Marc, I'm sure I speak for thousands of MotoGP fans at home that thought that this day would never come for you to be sat here on a Ducati, all in red. What are the emotions like? Even now, you've known for a while that this was going to happen, but does it feel weird to be sat here in red?
Yeah, one more time, the future you never know. I mean, but it's true that I feel super happy. That kind of butterflies in the stomach, even that I've been in many teams presentation, but you know, when you're in a new team, when you are right now in the reference team of MotoGP, it's like that extra pressure that is normal, but super happy to be on that red leather suit, and yeah, let's see, looking forward to start the season.
Is 2025 going to be the biggest challenge of your career so far?
For me, my biggest challenge has been last year. The comeback was last year. This year, of course, we are on the official team. That means that we need to fight for the World Championship from the first race. But yeah, let's see. But I'm enjoying on the bike, so this is the most important. Last year I enjoyed a lot. This year this will be main target. Keep enjoying, because if you're enjoying, then everything arrives. So yeah, but we will have on that right eye a little bit the title, and of course try to work with the team to be more and more competitive.
Throughout your career, you've always been the number one rider in the garage. Are you the number one rider this year?
Right now, no. I mean, of course, it's not number one, number two. It's like a more experienced rider inside the garage or less experienced rider inside the garage. In the end, we have equal conditions. The team, is working in the same way for the both riders. And this is the most important inside the team, because in the end the target is try to win. As I say, if Pecco is not able to win, I need to win, and opposite. If I'm not able to win, Pecco need to win. So this will be the main target. But yeah, trying in the first test, first races, you need to understand also the philosophy inside the garage. You need to understand the way that they are working, why they win so much these last years, and yeah, step by step, I will understand.
Just finally, Marc, as well, over the past 4.5 years, since July 2020, I've tried to get a headline out of you that you can fight for the World Championship, but you never gave it to me. But this time, in 2025, as you've said, the target is clear. It's World Championship or nothing.
I will answer in the way that we have everything to fight for the championship. We have the bike, we are on the correct team, so now it's in my hands.
Good luck in 2025.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, trust me, I work with Jack very closely, and I know how hard he tries to get headlines out of all the riders, especially Marc Marquez in 2024. Trying to get Marc to say he was in the title race was very difficult last year, but as he's explained there, he is absolutely in the title race from minute one of this season. Interesting to hear from Marc there, of course. Get your comments in about what he spoke about. Marc, the best rider in the world. In some people's eyes, in a lot of people's eyes, in millions of people's eyes, that is absolutely the case. In millions of others, potentially not. But Marc Marquez saying there, from the word go, he knows he's in the best team. He has one eye on the title from the get-go. Marc Marquez, in the greatest opportunity to show, disappeared a little bit quickly. Apologies for that. Marc Marquez is the best example of never give and always never giving in, and that he's the best in history. Let's go champion. Marc Marquez is the best example of never, that's the same one, always rise up, true inspiration, or a similar one anyway, apologies for that, rise up, true inspiration. He is an inspiration, of course, the comeback from injury to winning races again and being in the best team, on the best bike, potentially going to be world champion again in 2025. That remains to be seen, but what a story that will be in MotoGP. A true inspiration he is indeed. So yeah, Marc Marquez living up to expectations potentially in 2025. I'm sure a lot of you will be hoping that that is the case, that he will be becoming 2025 MotoGP World Champion. A happy mark is a fast mark. I mean, to be fair, an unhappy mark is also a fast mark, but a happy mark is an especially fast mark, as we saw last season in 2024 when he got back to winning ways. Just showing you the livery once again. Let us know how you feel about the livery in the comments. Chuck some questions in there, whether you're watching on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you might be watching from. Chuck some comments in and we'll try and get through as many as possible. We love interacting with you here in these team presentations. Pecco looking great, absolutely agree. As I said before, I like the new helmet design he's got going on. That's very, very smart. Pecco knows how to commit to a smart helmet design and a smart livery, a special one. So nice livery on Mark. Come on, Mark, conquer the Mandalika circuit for 2025. Yes, always looking forward to going back to Indonesia towards the end of the season. A fantastic racetrack, one of my favourites actually, the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit over in Lombok. A great venue to host motorcycle racing. A fantastic weekend when we go there later on in the season. Looking forward to most of the rounds coming up, especially Thailand as well. I do love the Buriram International Circuit, a magnificent venue to go to, but I think especially for round one, that massive grandstand on the home straight is going to be packed to the rafters, of course, for Somkhat Chantra in MotoGP. We're going to be hearing from Somkhat, of course, in a couple of weeks' time. But reverting our attention back to Ducati, here's live shots from Madonna de Campiglio in Italy, in the Italian Dolomites. As we've heard from Jack, a fantastic venue to host the team presentation. Some skiing going to be taking place tomorrow, so competition will be ramped up tomorrow, and they'll be just praying for no injuries. Of course, that is not the way they want to start the season if there's going to be some competitive action on the slopes. Here is then the 2025 provisional MotoGP calendar. As I've mentioned, Thailand kicks us off. Absolutely cannot wait for the end of February to get going. Looking forward to the tests, of course, in Sepang and then, of course, in Buriram as well. But absolutely cannot wait now to get the season underway. Then we head back to Argentina after missing it last year. Never been there before, so looking forward to going there and hopefully seeing plenty of South American fans. Then over to the USA, Austin, a fantastic city and a fantastic venue. Of course, a Marc Marquez stronghold as well. Crashed out there, didn't he, in 2024 on the Gresini Ducati. So Marc is going to take some stopping, you feel, over in the United States. Then we go to Qatar for round 4. Then it's the European leg of the season starting in Jerez. Then we go to Le Mans and then Silverstone. A little bit earlier on the calendar is the British GP this year. Plenty of British fans will be flocking there, I'm sure. Aragon, Mugello, and then Assen, Germany, and a return to Brno. Cannot wait to return to Brno, a track we've dearly missed, or I've certainly dearly missed anyway. It was one of my favourites before it unfortunately left us for a few years, but it is back on the calendar in the middle of July, so hopefully some blazing sunshine in the Czech Republic in the summer. Then we have a little bit of a break, and then we're back into the action. But cutting that slightly short because we have Gigi Dall'Igna to go and listen to. He is there with Jack over in Italy. So Jack, over to you.
Gigi Dall'Igna, the mastermind behind Ducati's 3 consecutive MotoGP World Championships. And Gigi, speaking to Pecco and Mark, it seems that the target is simple for 2025. It's to make sure that that number 1 returns to these red bikes.
Yeah, absolutely true. You know, the target, it's easy. For sure, it's not easy the path that we have to follow to achieve this result. But anyway, we have a clear idea about the situation, a lot of things to test. I think that we have to keep in mind that the last year bike was, honestly speaking, quite good. So we don't have any rush to put on the new bike a lot of things. So we have a lot of things in the pocket, and we have to select what is the base for the start of the season.
I think saying last year's bike is quite good is the understatement of the year so far. It was very good, Gigi. You won all but one of the races, one of the Grand Prix in 2025. But with regards to developing the bike, you've got two world champions in the box, you've got two very strong personalities in the box, and two very different riders in the box. So throughout pre-season, how are you going to manage the expectations of both Pecco and Marc to get a bike that they're both happy with?
Honestly speaking, the first test in Barcelona, both of them gave us the same comment on the new evolution of the bike. So, I'm quite surprised about that. But, it's not a real problem for us to follow different paths. If the riders asked us to do this, we did this in the past, and we can do this also for the next year. So I don't think that we have a big problem on that.
I'm sure you saw Aprilia's launch the other day, and the number one on the front. Was that an added motivation? What was your first reaction to seeing the number one on a rival bike?
It's not a problem to have the number one of the bike or not. The problem is to win the championship, and we did this last year, and this is the most important thing. So the number one in this case is just a number, and for sure I would like to have this on our bike, but it's the priority is to win the championship.
Gigi, thank you for your time and good luck in 2025.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear from Gigi Dall'Igna there. As Jack said, quite good. It's probably the understatement of the century so far. It won 17 out of the 17 1-2s in 2024. It won all but one race, of course. Maverick Viñales with the other in the United States of America. But yeah, always a fascinating man to listen to is Gigi Dall'Igna. I bet my house Marc will win 2025. That's a big bet. Be careful when you're doing that. But I mean, it's probably safe-ish. But don't go doing that without being a little bit cautious. These guys are all superheroes. Absolutely agree. Let's appreciate them all and the entertainment they give us from Naughty Rider. Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more. These are all superheroes. And let's go from talking about superheroes to another one in Jack Appleyard's over in Italy. One final goodbye, Jack. Great to hear from the riders and team management there. Talk us through the presentation from your end and what you feel after the presentation and how much you're looking forward to seeing these bikes on track with these two riders.
Yeah, now that it's officially done and dusted, I have to say it was dragging on a little bit at the end, wasn't it? But anyway, we'll move on. It was great to see Marc in reds. Hell has officially frozen over. Pigs can indeed fly. We've seen Marc Marquez officially presented as a factory Ducati rider. We said it at the start, even Marc himself admitting that you just never know what can happen in the future. 5 years ago, when he was dominating that 2019 World Championship, who would have thought that he would be here in the team that he was fighting against so vociferously throughout that period of his career? It's certainly been some story for Marc Marquez, and you feel that this year for both Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez is a year all about their legacies. Marc Marquez, if he's to win the World Championship this year, after everything that he's been through, all of the surgeries, all of the turmoil, it would really cement him. We already know he's one of the greats, but I think there's an argument to put together that he would be crowned the greatest of all time, to have come back from what he has done. And for Pecco Bagnaia, well, to put him in the bracket of the greatest, you do feel he has to win this year. If he's to win the World Championship and beat Marc Marquez inside his own team, then those doubters that still exist out there when it comes to Bagnaia and his talents, they will certainly be silenced. It's going to be a fascinating year, and Gigi Dall'Igna behind me, I thought that was very interesting with regards to what's coming up at the Sepang test and then again in Buriram. We'll keep a very close eye. He says in the past we have been able to go down different development routes for each rider in the factory box to try and suit them best, and he's not hiding away from the fact that we're happy to do that again to make sure that both Pecco and Marc are happy. It's all happy families at the moment, everyone's smiling. Big question is, how long's that going to last?
Yeah, exactly that, Jack. Thanks for your work, mate. Good luck on the slopes tomorrow. I hope you come at least inside the top 3 in the skiing race, but if not, hard luck, and come back safe and sound as well. Don't go pushing too hard. Cheers for your work, mate, and we'll see you. Well, I'll see you in the office and see you around. I'm sure everyone watching on will see you soon.
Yeah, I'll let you know how I get on social media. What do you think, Ramon? Just zoom in a little bit on the technique. I'm going to have to try get the knees going tomorrow, get the hips flexing as well. I think I'll be practicing tonight, ready for the big day tomorrow.
Don't have too many Italian cervezas. Go easy on the pizza as well, mate. We'll catch you soon. Yeah, always great to hear from Jack, of course. We'll be seeing him much more over the course of the next few weeks, and that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. The biggest presentation so far, potentially of the season as well, is officially over the 93 and the 63 on the factory Ducatis. Next up is VR46. Kiko Giles and Chris Jordan will be taking you through the next up, and I'll be back at the end of the month for the Yamaha and Pramac. But it is time to say goodbye, so thanks for tuning in, and we're going to leave you with the promo for There Can Be Only One. Sorry, I'll get that right. So it's goodbye from me for now. See you in a week or so, and enjoy your weeks, and we'll see you at the next one. Cheers.
The world's fastest riders are ready to hit full throttle once again. MotoGP is back. The party starts right here and now. Is this frenetic battle between Bagnaia and Marquez?
Non è né colpa tua né colpa mia, ma tutti e due a terra.
Shark attack. It's the rookie sensation of Costa. It's a race win behind Martin.
Hay que ganar.
Three names for the most coveted seat in MotoGP.
Calici perché io c'ho la new.
Magic Maverick Vinales, the Top Gun is back on top.
We don't give up until we reach the very top of this class.
Honestly, I would be pissed off in KTM's position if they manage to lose him.
Le queda bien el rojo.
Pramac no es una opción.
Masterpiece from world champion Pecco Bagnaia. Whoa! Here comes Marc Marquez, one of the greatest comebacks in Grand Prix history.
Tienen que dar ya mi nombre ahí.
But here comes Martin with the element of surprise.
There are more title contenders than ever, but there can be only one.